Welcome back, everyone.
We're here.
We're alive, and we have one good long between the two of us, so I'm sure we'll be fine today.
Yeah. I'm hoping for that hybrid alien lung to be transported into my chest sometime today. I do need to call my U.S. representatives and senators to see if they can make that happen.
Yes, and when your senators tell you if you are an alien hybrid or not, guys, let us know in the chat. Are you hybrid, human? We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Crazy shit in the news the past few days. We're gonna try and keep it crypto. Last episode was a lot of aliens and craziness, but we're gonna get into the good stuff today, guys.
Yep. There is some movement, at least allegedly, as far as we can tell, on the Clarity Act. And we do have some chart people who have been dropping some indicators about stuff moving. And so we'll get into it. But as always, we have to start with the bubbles, my bubbles.
The next 24 hours, guys. It is going to be an interesting 24 hours. A lot of volatility. But damn, look at that. A lot of our favorite projects recovering. You know, a lot of these names look familiar, and I don't want to say I told you so this early in the show, but I'm gonna. Every single project on here that has been performing lately has been a project that we've been talking about. Everything in the AI industry, ICP, FET, Near, Render, Quant. And then on top of that, the obvious choices, the ISO 20022 token.
Giro's favorite. Giro, shout out to you if you can make it in, or if you're watching a replay. Giro's favorite is Algo.
Yeah, Algo is interesting. And then they have a lot of stuff going on. And they're really slept on compared to things like XRP and HBAR and some of the other, more established ISO projects. But even stuff in supply chain, Link, Vet, VeChain, a lot of stuff in these narratives are moving today, guys. And I think this is people just positioning themselves in the project. So a good sign of the things to come, for sure.
Yep, especially if you consider that all the stuff going on in the world is really just smoke and mirrors for the global reset and the aliens.
The aliens do want one world currency, and it's interesting that the whole alien thing is being disclosed at the same time that the entire financial system is being rebuilt. But, conspiracy theories aside, fear.
Give it 6 months, it'll be fact.
Everyone's panicking, guys. Fear and greed at 28. We are still not into altcoin season yet, but I think that's going to change very soon. We got a chart here we're going to pull up in a second. I think you guys are really going to find interesting. But
yep,
a lot of movement, a lot of volatility back and forth. This is a good time
for we are
traders.
Still just bouncing between here. These are hourlies. Let me go to a daily here. There you go. That lays it out pretty well for you. We're bouncing between here and here, bouncing between here and here, bouncing between here and here.
Yeah. Not a lot of price action over the past few days, and honestly, that's kind of we've been using an AI trading bot. His name is Chompy, in case you guys didn't know, and it's made I think 11 trades so far, and it missed one of them. And the markets have been pretty stagnant. So I'm excited to see how it performs when a little bit more volatility kind of comes back, especially after this whole Clarity Act deal. Will it, won't it? I think it's gonna shake the markets for sure.
Yeah, no rate cut.
Wow.
Although unemployment did come in 0.1% lower than projected.
What is that? That's 0.5%.
So there's a raise. Yeah. Let's see. Let's project on it. Let's see what the next one looks like. 95% chance to stay the same, 4% chance basis cut, and 0.5% chance raise. So yeah, they don't know. All right. I before we get into today's stuff, I wanted to bring this up about yesterday. This was a great graphic. Quantum computing will break Bitcoin.
Oh, this is great.
Your PIN code for your debit card is 4 digits. You don't need quantum computing to break that.
Yeah, if you guys if you guys didn't check out the last video from yesterday, we talk a lot about quantum computing and the threat that it poses to crypto. The point is it threatens everything. So whether these systems are protected against it or not, it's irrelevant to Bitcoin or any other.
Let's not pretend that Bitcoin is the only thing vulnerable to quantum computing.
Right. It's like, oh, it's vulnerable. It's like, yeah, so is everything. So is the satellite data. So is the World Health Organization data. So is all this sensitive military data that is all being moved to Hedera Hashgraph for some reason, which is quantum protected. Weird coincidence. Anyway, that's not what the show's about today.
Yep. Here's the main news, the main thing we're going to talk about. There is apparently movement on the Clarity Act. I say apparently because we've been hearing this for 4 or 5 months now. Oh yeah, it's going to get past the end of this month. That time frame is up. Oh yeah, it's going to get past the end of this month. That time frame is up.
And the thing is, the clock really is ticking, so to speak, because they have until basically today to make a decision, or tomorrow to make a decision. And if they don't make a decision, there's going to be a final vote in May, which pushes it out another month. Unfortunately, if that happens and it gets shut down in April and it gets shut down in May, this might end up getting broken into smaller little bills, and it might not even pass until 2027 because these things take time. So if
because the United States Senate works 2 days a week and then takes 5 days. They have a 2-day work week and a 5-day weekend.
Yeah, so this stuff does not move fast, guys. And unfortunately, if they have to draft up a new bill, it's really just going to,
But Tim Scott, who is actually the head of the banking committee, has confirmed he spoke with Coinbase and everyone's still at the table. I'm sorry. Coinbase is not Coinbase or a bank. They're not elected representatives. Like, I understand you want their input, but they have zero say on whether or not a bill gets passed. They don't get to vote.
Right.
Now,
they just
what they're saying by saying this, the Coinbase is holding it up, or the banks are holding it up, is those people own us, and if they tell us not to vote for it, we won't. That's what your senators are telling you.
That's really kind of what's going on here. There's a lot of people sitting at the table, as they say, and yes, they're kind of just giving their opinion on this. But if you really don't think the wealthy, powerful billionaires are not behind the scenes controlling every aspect of this, then it's like you're just not paying attention to what's really going on. And I do want to play this clip because it's only 2 minutes, and it really
this one
kind of summarizes where we're at with the Clarity Act. And don't get me wrong, guys, this could be a really big deal for prices, but again, this is just the government and the banks putting their dirty little hands into crypto again. So I don't know.
Pause. Why are you not pausing? 1 second. I don't know why it's not pausing.
This is a professional operation, guys.
I can't. I don't know how to do anything other than click the pause. But yeah, let me replace this with sound, and we'll
look at him. You can tell he is just straight lying through his teeth.
Dang. All right, I'm gonna mute.
No, guys, this is good stuff.
Conversations about the Clarity Act.
Yes.
Where are we right now?
Well, Cheryl, this is hard, and it should be hard because this is the first time ever we've tried to deal with such a historic piece of legislation. It will keep America as the most dominant player in the world economically. There's good news, though, Cheryl. The first thing I'd say is that we now have Republicans and Democrats working together on language that they can agree on. The White House agrees on it as well. We have one more step to go. We need the industry to agree on it. So I spoke last night with Coinbase as well. Everyone is still at the table. There is work to be done, but I am really excited about the fact that we finally have Republicans and Democrats agreeing on something really important on the yield conversation. We now have to get industry to buy into this language. This is a threading the needle process. It's always difficult the first time you do it, but it gets better and better and better. And so I'm still very optimistic about where we are.
But it comes down to the issue of the rewards on the cryptocurrency platforms side. The banks oppose this because these cryptocurrency firms are not regulated the same as banks are. Of course, crypto platforms like a Coinbase, et cetera, don't want to be regulated like banks do. So does that mean that the banks, in a sense, are starting to win the argument about the rewards?
Well, Cheryl, the banks are at the table as well, but let's remember, we're talking about an apple and an orange. We're not talking about Apple versus Apple. A stable coin is a $1 to a $1 backing, whereas your savings account is a fractional system. So we're talking about two very different systems altogether. But yes, we want to make sure that the advertising or the marketing of a stable coin account is very different than an FDIC insured bank account. That's important. But at the end of the day, all the players are still at the table. We should expect this to be a very interesting and frankly exciting, not as exciting as March Madness, but it's pretty darn exciting to watch us get closer and closer to the end of this deal. I'm excited about where we are.
Now, back on.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I have to switch it from sound sharing computer sound to turn it off.
The reason I wanted to share that clip is because it brings up a good point. You know, this isn't the banks versus crypto. It is, but they can both exist together without needing to be the same thing. And I think that was a really good point that they brought up. The problem is the banks are completely threatened by this. That's why they're at the table. And it's interesting because there is a lot of shots being fired right now. Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, put in his 2 cents, and yeah, this is just such a drama right now. And there's a reason for that. They would not be fighting for this so hard one way or the other if it wasn't a big deal. So,
yeah,
you know, with rebuilding the financial system comes with a lot of drama. But
so scoop here from crypto savings expert at Crypto Savings EXP. He's saying that Brian Armstrong just said that the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill is only hours away. Now, this was April 3rd at 5:17 Eastern time, so that's about 5 hours ago. I mean, maybe so, but we did see, you know, we talked about it briefly yesterday that Brian Armstrong, yes, I mean, he has valid points, and yes, we agree with the idea that banks are only pushing back against this stable coin yield because it would result in what they themselves have called a deposit flight. That doesn't hurt anyone but the banks. It doesn't hurt the United States economy because that money just goes somewhere else to be distributed throughout the system. But while we can agree with that, and Brian Armstrong makes a strong point there that, yeah, the banks just don't want to give you yield and they don't want to lose your deposit.
They still want your money too.
Coinbase left, Brian Armstrong left out the part that Coinbase makes like 35% on these fees. Now, granted, you're still getting more. Like, don't get me wrong, your return is way more than you're getting at the bank. But Coinbase also making that money, and I got no problem with people making money. But
exactly, I'm okay with Coinbase making money as long as they're sharing some of it with the rest of us.
Come on, Brian. Let's put it all on the table. Your structure for your company makes you money, and it makes me money too, and that's cool. I'm happy with everybody winning. But you don't have to hide the part where you're also trying to make money.
But it's also a fair market economy too. Like, if you're going to offer us more yield, of course we're going to go through you instead of the banks. And you know what? Instead of the banks bitching and moaning about it, maybe they should just offer better competitive yield. And I think that's why a lot of the banks are starting.
We don't do free market economy in the United States, even though we say we do.
I do want to check out that clip of Charles Hoskinson freaking out because I haven't watched it yet, but I know.
Oh, this one here of him just.
He always throws in his 2 cents to this kind of stuff. So I want to hear what he says because apparently some shots were fired. So.
Like he's a little unhinged.
Oh yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me reset the sound
all you
again.
Cardano people out there. Yeah, and
the irony, guys, is the only group of people holding up the Passage of Clarity Act now is Coinbase, not because of any of these principles. They just want to be able to pay a yield on their stablecoin. And they're like, we are fighting for the retail consumer for yield on our stablecoin. Okay, so are you supporting DEXs? Okay. Are you supporting things not being a security? Stablecoin yield. That's all they're fighting for. That's the whole thing that's setting this whole thing up. It's like this one wedge issue there. Not any of this, like, how do we regulate the industry properly? Why? Because
the echo. But it's interesting because Cardano gets shit on a lot, and I see why, because he makes some very bold claims, and it's like there's a lot of things Coinbase could be fighting for. Coinbase has their own DEX. Okay, if they were concerned about the DEX issue, I'm sure that they would work something out. But I don't know. It seems like he's just pissed that Cardano gives you like 4% when you're staking. I don't know.
I'm not sure what dog Cardano has in the Clarity Act. I don't know how the Clarity Act would positively or negatively affect them, other than it would positively affect the entire space. I don't know what Cardano is doing anymore.
The only thing I know about Cardano, and it's a project, to be honest, guys, I haven't been following it for a while just because when I first got into crypto, Cardano was one of the first projects that I bought. And I did see it go all the way up from like $1 to $3, and I was happy with it, but it just didn't do anything, and it's still not doing anything. I'm just not excited about it anymore. Its ecosystem.
They just keep offering new tokens. And I'm like,
like Hedera, Solana, even like stuff like smaller projects, like, I don't know, like VeChain and stuff. Like, they have things going on. They have development. They have DEXs. They have all this stuff.
They're being used for stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Midnight token, the privacy token, that's a good thing, but that's not ADA.
Why would you not just use Monero if you're worried about privacy? So it's like,
whatever. Again, they may be being fabulous and wonderful, and I just don't know.
The one thing I'll give it to Cardano is I know that they are rebuilding Africa's banking system, which is great. I mean, that's
are they still doing that?
Again,
I guess. I don't know. A couple of charts for you that we did want to bring up. I want to bring this one up first from Bitcoin Teddy. Bitcoin has bottomed exactly 23 months after an all-time high in every cycle. We're sitting at month 23 right now.
The thing I want to highlight with these charts is when people throw this stuff up here, Bitcoin always follows a pattern, guys, and this pattern has never failed. So I really do think that we are getting close to, seeing Bitcoin really start rallying again, and alt season, which I know most people are really just kind of waiting for that because, as you guys know, as soon as Bitcoin runs, alt season is going to absolutely explode. And I've been seeing a lot of technical analysis on Twitter and X and other social medias, and a lot of people are posting this same exact chart. And at the end of the day, guys, like, TA works, and a lot of this stuff is just patterns. And if it's played out every other time before this, I'm just going to keep following what works.
I mean, yeah, like that. I mean, that's really it. Like, we're.
And scroll up a little bit for the caption above it. These are the previous rallies for altcoins. Obviously, we're probably going to see between a 10 and 15x rally on most altcoins because, as you know, the returns are smaller over the years. But
well, and this chart here is also total market cap of all crypto outside the top 10. That's what
yeah,
this chart is. So yeah, the market cap is not going to go up 200x. The total market cap value is not going to go up 200x, but just don't expect that.
if you're in a safe project, a 10x, in my opinion, is guaranteed. If you're in some of the top like 20 cryptos, maybe some of the bigger ones, probably not quite, like maybe like obviously Bitcoin, I don't think is going to 10x this cycle. But definitely any of the altcoins, the smaller ones. I mean, I think that's a given at this point because we've never had institutional money really flood in the way that it is this cycle. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when retail finally like gets back in the market.
And they're like right now at this low point, the big boys are stacking, and they're stacking OTC, which means they're buying stuff that doesn't move the price at all. And then once they have to, once whatever conditions are set and they have to reveal, okay, now we hold this many tokens in our ETFs, the realization of the supply shock could very well make people realize, oh crap, there's a lot less available than I thought there was, and I better buy some up. But there won't be as much to buy because these ETFs have to actually lock these in and hold them. We could see a great, huge banana rally. We could. We may not. I don't know. I don't pretend.
And speculation moves. I mean, it moves the price. And as JC just said, people are like, oh, BlackRock just bought hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Why did the price not go up? And that is exactly why, because they're buying it from other people, not from the market or from the exchange. So it's not going to move the price. But as JC just explained, once the supply shock hits, I mean, we could see ridiculous prices that obviously are not going to, stay that way, but we could see that blow off top of speculation where people are just panic buying. So,
yeah. But yeah, and I mean, considering again this chart here that 23 months from all-time high to bottom, we're at that point now. Yeah, I mean, and this is 4-year cycle stuff. People are like, oh, 4-year cycle's dead. Well, apparently not.
The 4-year cycle, they say, is dead every 4 years, but it plays out. And it's because it's based on pretty fundamental stuff, guys. The halving cycle of Bitcoin, the natural supply shock of Bitcoin. I mean, this is programmed literally to happen.
Boom, look at that. We're live on X. You can see that right there. Live on X and YouTube. But yeah, this is from Amon YX. I don't know, whatever. Sorry for butchering your name there. But apparently, the SEC published a document mentioning the replacement of the Swift. Look at this. This right here. Action to unlock funds. Replace Swift with XRP-based liquidity. Shift global payments to XRP. Implement XRP for IRS and Social Security payments.
I know this sounds like so boring to like just somebody coming in, but it's like we have waited years for XRP to do this. People have been speculating for years. Oh, it's going to replace, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. And people were in their camp. They're like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. This is huge, guys. This is vindicating everything that, we've talked about over the past like 5 years. It's finally happening, and it's just wild to really see. And
this is for ICE.
ICE, this is for you.
We don't have any new Arrow news, so we're bringing you more Chainlink.
Yeah. So again, guys, Chainlink is always making huge partnerships. No big news here. That is just, another partnership, to be honest. But the reason that we wanted to share this is because they are distributing not only a stable coin, but they're doing token-backed U.S. equities. Now, we talked about real-world assets and them tokenizing things like the stock market and real estate, like things that Hedera is doing. Chainlink is in this camp as well. So not only is it essentially the plumbing of all crypto, but it's working on tokenizing U.S. equities, and it just keeps moving. It just keeps doing things. This is what I'm talking about. When you see a project that is constantly making partnerships, constantly building, constantly doing new things, those are the ones you pay attention to, not the ones that are like, I wonder what they've been doing for the past 4 years.
And this is
Sorry,
the same thing from Altcoin Buzz. Chainlink is bringing Tesla and NVIDIA on chain. Multiply, which we just was on the previous slide there, just adopted Link infrastructure to supercharge their stablecoin. Why is this huge deal for DeFi? Secure CCIP, cross-chain transfers, NAV data feeds, proof of reserve, control transparency. Yeah. Tesla and NVIDIA are now partnering or using Chainlink.
Chainlink is a AAA project. If you ask me,
S plus tier, S plus.
Yeah. If you ask me what is the safest thing that you could buy in crypto, it would have to be Chainlink. It's not going to have the returns of some of the other stuff, I don't think. But if you're looking for something that's like a almost a sure thing, and
just hold it for 20 years, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be fine.
It is the infrastructure.
You'll be very happy.
Yes, absolutely.
What else we got? Oh yeah, here you go. Are we working on this? Yes, we are.
So we're doing this, guys. We'll talk about this more in a later video, but we have successfully started doing arbitrage on Polymarket with our Open Claw bot. A lot of people are still calling it Claude or Claude AI, but OpenAI bought them basically, so they're rebranding to Open Claw. Essentially all the same stuff. Like the guy that developed Claude AI and they've had a lot of rebrands, like 3 different name changes, but essentially the guy that created it was hired by ChatGPT. So
this is the key phrase here: faster than any human can react.
Yeah. Really, all it's doing, this isn't magic, guys. If you've played around with a trading bot, you really know that it's just doing what you're telling it to do. So if you can give it a very strict risk managed parameters for your trades, it's just going to execute them automatically. So it's not, making your trades for you, but it's making your trades for you. So people are doing insanely well with this just because the speed that they're able to make these trades and close these positions. So we're going to keep experimenting with our bot. We're at like a 300% ROI right now. And we've been using it for a week. So, the only thing that can get me stop talking about the AI bots. Bam.
I mean, have we been talking about HBAR being quantum resistant for 6 months now? Yes, we have.
It's
here. Let me zoom in.
HBAR is my biggest holding and my favorite project, so totally biased, but this is a big one, guys. Not a lot of cryptos are actually resistant to quantum computing yet. A lot of them are going to be, I'm sure, eventually, but this is huge because it's not even it's not even a blockchain technically. It's a hash graph, which is a little bit different. So to me, it's in a tier above itself. I can't say it's a safer play than Chainlink, to be honest, but the returns are going to be much higher.
Here's the highlighted section down here. 1 second.
Oh, he's got to die real quick.
Yeah, there went my other lung. HBAR was designed to allow for changes to meet new demand and evolving standards. For example, the anticipated challenges posed by quantum computing would require fundamental changes in most DLTs, but HBAR is able to introduce new cryptographic algorithms without undertaking a hard fork, which means they don't have to rewrite their whole code.
And a lot of projects have to do this, guys. We've seen a lot of projects have to do forks. Even the biggest project like Ethereum, they had to do a hard fork with Ethereum Classic. And forks usually make or break a network. And, they're inconvenient for everyone involved. And it's just amazing that Hedera is built to, not only change and, adapt, but that it's already protected against one of the biggest existential threats to crypto.
I'm just looking to see if we have any extra late breaking news. This is from Diana. BlackRock confirms 80% of all Americans could soon access 401k crypto alternatives. It was funny to me because initially this headline over the last couple of days was BlackRock confirms 80% of all Americans could access crypto. No, 100% of all Americans can access crypto right now.
Right now. We don't need you.
But no, for their 401k, it has become legal to put crypto in your 401k, which that's old news. I don't know why it's that big a deal. Just let's see if there's anything new. Yeah. Claude, $20 made $34,000. That's what we're trying to do too.
There's a lot of people posting receipts, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of this stuff is clickbait. So you use their link to sign up for whatever. But
just be careful of their code. Their code could be malicious as well.
Yeah. But people are making serious money with these trading bots. So, yep.
Yeah.
Now fully trading view. Interesting. Because right now, to my knowledge, Simmer, which is the platform that allows you to use the AI bots.
Oh, trading views. That's huge.
Yeah. Because that gives you signals. That's very interesting. We're gonna have to play around with that, but yeah, right now, Call Sheet and Polymarket are the two that it really has access to.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything just really breaking.
Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on this, guys. I mean, the Clarity Act we've talked for months about, but it is a really big deal, and if things keep playing out the way that they've been, we could see a huge rally in the next couple months. So. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. We'll give you guys an update tomorrow when we what is today?
Today's Friday.
Oh, it is. Well,
that's Good Friday. Happy Easter this weekend, folks.
Yeah. Enjoy your Easter, guys. We're going to definitely give you guys an update on Tuesday when we come back for the show about what happened during the Clarity Act, if it's postponed or if we got some bullish news. But definitely hop in the Discord if you guys want some more. We do a ton of events in the Discord. We give away a lot of prizes and all the fun stuff, and the degeneracy goes on in the Discord. So if you guys had fun hanging out with us, definitely pop in. It's free to join, and you're going to meet a lot of really interesting Cardano people in there. So.
We have a good time, and we like to talk crypto. We like to talk about pretty much anything and everything. So if you just want to come and hang out with some people that just like to chit-chat, blow off steam, Discord is a place to do it. But have a great weekend. Happy Easter. And I don't know, unless something crazy happens and we have to do a show on Monday, we'll see you Tuesday.
Woo.
Have a great weekend.
Chompy, our valuable trading bot, send us away.